Hello, hello, hello. Okay. It's gonna go live. We're not remove you. Okay, so I think we're having a problem with going live on LinkedIn right now, but we're gonna go ahead and go with it because we had issues. But we're here this evening. This will be your first Thursday live with GABCC. I'm Ronique West, president, co-founder of Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. I have with me Miss Ben and Vivian Ross. So here, every first Thursday of the month, we want you to start meeting GABCC members. And so I'm so excited to have my very first guest on our live this Thursday. So say good evening to everybody. Good afternoon or good evening. I guess it's evening. You could say 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a real casual conversation, talk about business, doing business in Augusta and the CSRA, what business you guys are into, what you actually do. Your elephant in the room, but I'm not gonna give away yet. Okay, we're not gonna tell them what you do yet. We're gonna get into that conversation. But first, let me do some housekeeping for the chamber, just in case you guys have been wondering. First, happy Black History Month.
Yes.
It is February 1st, right?
Yeah.
So happy Black History Month, everybody. You watching this, share this out so people can learn about this business. But let me tell you what the organization has coming up, because everybody has been asking, like, hey, when you guys start? If you haven't noticed, or the cat's out the bag now, we start every February. So we start every Black History Month is when the organization kicks off fully. And we do that intentionally. As you know, here at the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce, we're very intentional and do things on purpose. So thank you. I see we have a couple people in the live already. If you have any comments or you have any questions, just feel free to type them below as we get into it. But tomorrow morning, we'll be back with our CSRA Economic Impact Call. We have Wellstar who will be presenting. We'll have the president of Wellstar on that call. So you want to be on that call in the morning. I will put the links in the chat, or I'll drop them up above just in case you don't have that link already. If you're watching this, so you can join us at 8:30 in the morning via Zoom. We also have where we're going into the classrooms for CTAE month and National Entrepreneurship Week. So we go into the classes every February, our members and leaders, and we talk to our youth about entrepreneurship and the different businesses that are in the community. And we love to hear from our youth about all the businesses they have, because we met a lot of entrepreneurs last time. Every year we meet a lot of entrepreneurs in our school system. So we want to continue to encourage them to grow their businesses and so forth. February the 15th, we will be doing our official kickoff event. So make sure you come out to that. You'll meet the team for 2024, and you'll hear from each committee. We'll have a surprise that evening too. So, we always like to have events and have surprises, so we won't give it away, but we'll have a surprise that evening as well. And then if you're not aware, hopefully you are, we have our Step Up program that is happening February 29th, business automation. So we're getting into the marketing portion of Step Up, and we have a actual instructor who is out of Texas that is going to come to teach that class, who has over 1 million followers on social media. So he will be teaching several classes with the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. So we're so excited about having him come and teach you about business automation, business monetization, and so forth, so you continue to grow your business in the virtual world that we're in. So now let's get right into our first Thursday live. Now that the housekeeping's done, Ben and Vivian, you guys are like wonders in the community. Okay. First of all, I'm just going to say that. But before I say that, I want you to tell everybody who you are, what your business does for the CSRA. And then I'm just going to turn it over to you. And then we're going to just have a conversation on this first Thursday live.
Well, I'm Ben Ross, and this is my wife, Vivian Ross. And we are owners of Elephant in the Room Counseling Services, where we provide counseling services to the community, individual, group, marriage, premarital counseling.
We currently have 10 therapists.
Mm-hmm.
We currently have 10 therapists that works with Elephant in the Room, and including one therapist that works out of Savannah. And so that means we provide therapy from children ages 5 to adults ages 105. We do family therapy, individual therapy, couples therapy, you name it, we do it. And if you call us and we don't have a therapist here that works with your needs, we will find it. We will find it. We will refer you to that therapist. So we connect with other therapists in Augusta as well. And we definitely enjoy that.
Okay.
One of the keys to our business in marriage counseling, you get Vivian and myself. You call in and you ask for Vivian and myself for couples counseling, so you get both of us, and that helps the couple because nobody can say we're playing favorites. Everybody feel like women to feel comfortable with a woman, a man feel comfortable with a man, and you'll get a perspective from both of us.
Wow. So, I mean, I have so many questions. And good evening to all the live viewers we have with us this evening. Make sure you share this broadcast because someone may need this information we're going to talk about here tonight during our first live Thursdays with GABCC. So, what made you start this business? Okay, no, because you're married. How did y'all meet? And then how did you get to start this business? Let's go there. So, yeah, I'm going to let you tell that story.
We met in prison.
Now y'all was locked up.
Yeah, you can say we was locked up. We both worked in the prison. So I always say we met in prison. We were both working in the prison, but that's how we met at work. And we still work together all these years later. We still work together.
And it's surprising because she was a nurse at the time and I was a mental health counselor. And we worked in the prison for 2 years before we even met each other.
Wow. So y'all was in the prison working. So who said hi first?
He did.
I did.
So did you ask her out first or who asked who out first?
He did.
Okay.
I was in school.
Yes.
Yeah, I was in school. I just kind of felt like I didn't need a distraction. I wasn't interested in, anything, and he won me over.
Oh, yeah. That's so sweet. So now you guys were working in the prison system together, met, decided to connect, and what led you to actually going into your own business together?
Wow.
Well, I know from my perspective, I wanted to do my 30 years with the state, retire, and go into some type of business. And then Vivian proposed that we go into business together into counseling. And I'll let you take it from there.
Well, we met working together. And then from the prison, we had 3 additional jobs that we worked together. So we worked at in a group home together, and we worked with DJJ together. And he would always say, whenever I had a job, I wouldn't stay long. I would quit the job. And because I always felt like my supervisor would always ask that question, are you really my supervisor? And so he would say, you're never going to be happy at any job until you start your own. And so, eventually I felt like, he was probably right because we worked in all of these different environments together, but it was definitely important for us to start this work that we're doing. It needed to be done a little bit differently. And so starting our own business was the only way that we could see that we could actually work with the people that we wanted to work with, the clients that we wanted to work with, the way that we wanted to work with them. That's why this was important.
Wow. Well, I mean, I think, did you leave, like, did you guys plan and then quit, or did you have a goal in mind to save and then start the business, or did one stay at work and then you started the business and then the other one came and started going into the counseling? Like, how was that transition?
All of that. All of that. All of those pieces happened. He was, like he said, he worked until he retired. And once he retired, so we had been talking about starting a business for several years, for a few years. And then he retired. And so once he retired, he had more time that he could devote to the business. During that time, when we initially started the business, I was still working another job full time. And so once the business had been going for a good year, for a good year, it was that's when I stopped working that job full time. But there were a lot of little pieces that happened when we started the business. I found out I had cancer, breast cancer.
Wow.
And so we continued to operate. We couldn't operate full time because of chemo and treatments and surgery and all of that. But once I was clear, which I still am 5 years later, this is my 5th year.
Congrats.
Thank you. We worked that year and then I quit. So the business was growing and going before I started working the business full time.
Wow. Okay. So now that you guys, can we talk about like the beginning year? Because how long have you been in business?
Since
2019.
Yeah, since 2019.
So right before the pandemic.
Right.
So you started business right before the pandemic. How was that first year, if you can recall?
Yeah, so the first year was really, really slow. And and part of it was because we started and then a month later I had that diagnosis. And so the first year we actually moved slow anyway, just because of the diagnosis and the medical and everything that was going on. So as soon as 2020 hit, which was COVID year, I left my job, the full-time job, to work Elephant in the Room full-time in February. We were shut down in March because of COVID. So it was hard. You know, nobody expected to be shut down. So that first year we had to pivot that whole year. We were initially all private pay. And so once we got shut down, we lost every client. All of our clients at that time was small business owners, right? And so they were also dealing with having to shut down, so they couldn't pay for therapy. And so that's when we started getting on insurance panels. So we pivoted that whole year. We used 2020 to pivot, start getting on insurance panels. And by the end of 2020, we even lost the location. The building that we were providing services at, they sold the building. And so we had to find another place to relocate. So that whole first 2 years was rough. It was cancer, then it was COVID, and then 2021 is when we really actually started operating full time.
And that, you know what, that was rough, but it sounds like the first 2 years of a business, of a startup.
Yeah.
And I think that what makes if you're made for business entrepreneurship, you navigate through those challenges and you continue to build your business and you don't stop on your goal of continuing on. I think that shows a tried and true business owner entrepreneur. So, you know, a testament to you guys. So let's kind of talk about when you secured your first business building, because I think you're in your second building now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Third.
Actually, third.
Building. Okay, so let's talk about the transition to the second building before we get to the third building.
Okay.
Well, the second building, we got together with 2 other therapists with the idea we coming together that we can do it together, which is more powerful in bringing in more clients and being able to spread our wings more. But as we were in the second building, we found out we lost one of the therapists, and then we started to grow. We were growing and got to a point, the second location was too small. And I would listen to Vivian, and her ideas and her vision was taking us a place where I had to realize that, hey, yeah, we had to move. We had to move for some of the plans and visions she had to grow the business. I had to get on board with moving. And now we moved to this third location. And it just so happened, somebody said to me today, the way it looks now, you might need a larger place. And I'm looking at him like, what?
Yeah, I thought about that when you got to the third one. I was like, they're gonna outgrow this probably quick. I love the location though. So, you know, so that second location, and when you decided to go to that third one, you know, and you expanded your staff too, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So one thing that we are definitely excited about is all of the staff that we've been able to hire. I mean, that is just amazing. And to be honest with you, we didn't even realize the how powerful that was until you said it. You actually said it at the ribbon cutting, and we were like, oh, wow, we're actually doing this. So the first building, I think we had 4 therapists. And we started growing so fast that we needed to bring in additional therapists. Because what the community was asking for, they were asking for male therapists, they were asking for family therapists, people that could work with their children. And so, and also more couples therapists. And so we see couples, we love to see couples, but we couldn't see as many couples as were asking for premarital counseling, marital counseling, Christian counseling, and all of the things that the community needed, our community asked for. And so we wanted to be able to provide those services. So it didn't take long at all for us to grow out of that office. We were sharing offices, even at that space. A therapist might come in the morning time, and then another therapist will come in the evening time and use that same office space. So, but it's funny because now that's what's happening over here.
Wow.
We got to adjust therapist schedules so that we can share one office space.
Wow. So you're already outgrowing the space as to be expected. Now, what, because you guys like 5 year in business. Am I saying that right? 4?
Yes.
4 year in business.
Yes. 21, 22, 23. This will be 5 years.
5 years in business. And you are really having success. You've moved 3 locations. You're growing your staff. I know we're going to talk about some initiatives you have coming up here a little bit later in the broadcast. But was there anything that really, kept you going, that helped you to say, okay, we need to do this to continue to grow our business? Was there any items that you learned, along the way in business you can share with everybody listening to this live?
To be honest, it was you and the Great Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. Because you're in a position hey, Vivian is looking at me like you the CEO, and I don't know everything about business. I don't know. I know how to do counseling, but I don't know how to run a business. But I felt like I was in a position to go seek expert help and to find the people to do the things I had shortcomings to do. And I had heard you speak one day, and I looked at Vivian, hey, we going to join. We going to join the Great Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. And she looked at, well, where we going to get the money? Yeah. I didn't care about that. Where we going to get the money from? I didn't care about that. I knew that we had to join because we had to learn how to run a business, and I listened to you speak, and I knew that, hey, this is something that we had to do. And it's paid off because thanks to the Great Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce, we received grants, education. A lot of the people that we deal with, we met through Great Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. Some of the instructors for the different courses, some of the other entrepreneurs in the area. So that helped us.
That's huge. That's huge. I think, that's a testament of, taking the time to build an organization that serves business owners in the community to see the business owners grow, because small business is really the backbone of the community. And so you guys need support, and y'all need, the education and the structure and the opportunity to advance, whether it be, sometimes the grants, but the education is the biggest piece, because that is what you apply to your business that keeps you growing at the magnitude you guys are growing in 5 years. Because when I tell you, I know you go to classes, you guys have been, I think, the 2 training right now. You guys has completed 2 trainings with the Great Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce, and I see you have applied those methods to your business.
Yes.
You have hired those professionals, which has led you to continue to grow your business to the magnitude where it's growing. So I can't wait to see what more great things you do. And that just, it warms my heart you know, in my soul, I'm a very genuine person. Y'all know that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, for me, it definitely was, I wanted to be in a position just to support business owners. So I feel like, you know, we needed that more and more. And I see it more and more just in our community, throughout the country, throughout the United States, you know, everywhere. So I'm just happy to be blessed to have, you know, be able to walk this journey with you guys and see you grow. So I always feel like you guys are an extension of me. You know, I can't do it alone. The members can't do it alone, but together we can do it,
Yeah.
you know, and support our community.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit of, go ahead, Ben.
And we greatly appreciate you, your time, your patience. Because sometimes I feel like I call you too much, you know.
Not at all.
Especially in 2023, I felt like, man, I really don't want to bother her, but I need to know, or I need to ask this question. And it's amazing. It's surprising to know through the chamber the number of Black entrepreneurs in this area.
Yeah.
And I know Vivian was pointing out to me one day, I think you said it was three Black businesses, 3 or 4 Black businesses right on Central Avenue where we're located.
It's more than that now.
Oh, it's more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because there's one right across the street from us, the school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
our offices is down the street from you. So
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're down the street from you guys now. But it's we have almost 200 members. So we have a you know, thinking about the demographics in Augusta and throughout the CSRA, you know, it's a lot more Black businesses that than that as well, because we train over 600 in this area. So, you know, we want to be able to support, you know, all of them, whether, you know, they're members or not. But, you know, we definitely get some special things for our members, like being featured on the live, you know, getting the different perks you guys get as members. But I want to talk a little bit more about therapy, because I think that is something that is still taboo in our community. But I think the younger generations are more like, hey, I want to resolve my trauma.
Right.
I want to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more than the older generations. I feel like it's more of a conversation that's happening now. Now, I'm not the expert in therapy, so I'm gonna turn it over to you, and you guys let me know. I guess, you know, from a perspective, why is therapy so critical, especially for the Black community?
Yeah, and you said a whole lot about it used to be taboo, and it's still kind of taboo, and people just didn't believe in therapy. But we will say that something positive did happen out of COVID. And during COVID, everybody was on social media, utilizing social media, and it was a lot of people talking about their mental health issues and seeking help. And so that really kind of helped kickstart where we're at now. Now, I can honestly say that our community, Black folks, are starting to seek out therapy, and we actually love it. And the thing about it is, we can be genuine in our sessions, and they can be genuine in the session with us. So now they can come in and sit down and talk to a therapist and don't feel like they got to shut down, like they can't really be honest about the way they feel or about the things that they have been through, and feel like they're going to be judged, right? They have this opportunity now to sit in front of somebody that I can trust with everything that has been going on in my life. And I think that part is important. We get calls every week, probably every day, when someone is looking for a therapist, and the question that they ask is the therapist Black? That warms my soul when somebody says, hey, is the therapist Black? And we get tickled sometimes because while they're on the phone, they're whispering to the receptionist, hey, is the therapist Black? and we always get tickled about that. Like, yeah, like we provide the service for anybody that's seeking mental health therapy. We're not turning anybody away from therapy. But for us, for our community to say, hey, I need therapy. I think I need therapy. I don't know if I need therapy. We often ask the question during our therapy session is about trauma. Have you experienced any trauma? And a lot of times our clients will say, no, I haven't experienced any trauma. But as we start talking about how you were raised and growing up and the things that you experienced, yeah, some of those things are traumatic, but we just don't even recognize it as being trauma.
Wow. And then is it, so you're saying it's becoming less taboo? Or in a sense, you know, and I know like a lot of people are always looking for a therapist that is from the same ethnic background as them. And a lot of times it is very difficult to find a Black therapist.
Right.
And so that's something that a lot of, you know, I see a lot of people are trying to push and put those up to the front. But is there any group that you feel like may have a hurdle of still seeking therapy that you would like to see or help more of?
So I think that and so my husband and I are not the specialists when it comes to like same-sex couples or the LGBTQ community. We're not the experts in that field.
Yes.
So what we did was hire somebody that is an expert in that field.
Wow.
Because I think that being gay and being Black is still hard, right? And so that community still struggles a lot. And I can honestly say, yeah, I'm not the expert, right? But I'm gonna put you with somebody that is an expert that you can work through because sometimes they have a lot of trauma also, right? Yeah. And so they need to be able to talk about their trauma, right? And how they are developing and how they're just being healthy and how can I get in a mentally healthy space and still be true to myself, right?
Without being, excuse me for cutting you off, but without being judged.
Right. So I would think that community is still struggling with finding somebody who they can actually genuinely work through their issues with.
Wow. Yep. I think that is huge because we know we want to be an inclusive community as we continue to, you know, go through all the changes that is upon us in this society, because we will have a massive change over the next 10 to 20 years. If anybody's heard me speak, you've heard me talk about this with artificial intelligence, where things are going to go. People are going to be in a constant state of change right now.
Yes.
We have seen the layoffs be massive, and we are not even into the second month of 2024. We just hit the second month of 2024. Right. So we have to be serious about our well-beings, our emotional health right now as we support our community and others that may be dealing with a loss of some type. A job loss is still a loss.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And that still is a change in a dynamic that we must continue to go through. So one thing I know Ben is passionate about, and I want him to talk a little bit about this, you know, when we talk about groups, is our men in seeking therapy.
Yes.
So if you could touch a little bit on that.
I want to see more men come in for counseling, because we got this thing, we a macho, you know, and it's not all about being macho. It's being able for a man to come in and speak to a therapist, whether you want a male therapist or a female, because some male clients come in and they want a female. But then you have those male clients that want to speak to a male because you can relate. Because a lot of times when I talk to my male clients, I can feel they can let themselves be vulnerable, and I can empathize on what they're saying to me because I'm a Black man and I've been in that situation or seen it or experienced it. So I understand, and that I can look at them and they can look at me, and I don't think of them no less than a man. So in one of our conferences last year, I challenged the wives to motivate the men to seek counseling when they need it, because women will come, but I need them to motivate the men to come in and see us and know that, hey, I can be vulnerable and still be that macho man. Because see, when we're raised, you notice something, when we're raised as children, a lot of energy is put into the little girl. But I don't think as much energy is put into us as boys, because as soon as we experience something, stop that crying, get up, stop. Why can't we express ourselves and our emotions where that little girl can cry and it's going to be okay? a lot of times that's not done for us. We got to show that we're a man. We got to show that we got to keep things to ourselves. And a lot of times that's what's eating us up because we're not able to express what we're feeling. Because I believe if you're able to, I've always worked in tough environments. And I've always been able to say what I needed to say to a supervisor. Mm-hmm. That worked for me through the military and even my civilian life. And that's what has kept me sane to where I didn't explode at a job because I've been able to say what I needed to say. I realized the environment where I was in and how to say it, but I did express how I feel. And it didn't go my way, but I had the opportunity to express what I feel. And I think for men through counseling, the same thing can happen. You can express how you feel. You can brush yourself off. You can walk out the door and you're no less than a man because you came to counseling. And the other part of that, you don't have to be crazy to get counseling. A lot of times men think that, oh, I'm not crazy. No, it's not about being crazy, but you experience from time to time a mental illness. Suffering to death during that period of time, you suffered a mental illness. And it determines the length of time how you rebound from it. But yeah, I'm passionate about men coming in. I want to see more men come in.
Wow. Yeah, I was like, I wanted to make sure you touched on that because I know you're very passionate about that. And I think women would like to see more men come in. Yeah. You know, single men definitely seek the help that you need. Married men, all men come in. I was watching a podcast, and it was literally saying that our young man is in a state of emergency right now.
Yes.
And he was explaining why. Mm-hmm. And it was alarming to me that is the case. And I don't think a lot of people are aware of it because like you said, there's a lot of support and initiatives for women. And even when we're being raised, it's a difference, right, of what a young man's told to do and what a woman or girl is told to do. So having emotional well-being and handling your emotions is very important, having emotional intelligence. And I think, you know, we experience it when things happen in the world and, you know, the young men become adults or young women become adults and they don't know how to handle their emotional intelligence. And we see what happens, right? So therapy and having you guys around as counseling services is very critical for our overall community. You know, before we get to jobs and working and going to school, you know, we have to have mental well-being. And I think that has to become a priority, especially to me in the United States, where we're dealing with a lot of different things in our environments that is impacting our well-being, especially amongst the Black community. Yes. So I think that's just something that we have to be diligent about and be advocates for no matter what position we are in our community. So I know you have some initiatives coming up, and then I'm going to see if we have any questions. So if you guys have any questions, if you're watching this live, you can drop them right now in the chat before I let Miss Vivian and Ben go. But I know you have some issues you haven't coming out for the community, or the ones you can talk about. If you could let us know those that you're ready to discuss, so we'll know what's happening with Elephant in the Room counseling services for 2024.
We're going to be starting back up in February. We started last year doing networking events, and I was so pleased for you to be one of our speakers. And we're going to be doing that again. We're going to invite anybody who wants to start a business, has a business. We're going to be starting the last Friday of the month, a networking event at our office at 2101 Central Avenue. And we're going to start about 6 o'clock, giving people the exposure, meeting other people who have businesses, who want to start a business. And that way, we're able to network with each other, learn about other businesses in the CSRA, and talk to people who have started to get some insight on how to start a business, how to maintain, where do I look for. And each time I make sure I plug the Great Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
We have a DUI school that will be starting real soon.
Okay.
We're still just waiting on that final thing from the state to say, y'all ready to go? Everything is ready to go. We're just waiting on that one final piece. So that will be starting within the next few months, and we're excited about the DUI school. We also will be starting before the end of the year a care program where we will be providing in-home counseling to seniors who are homebound, who don't have transportation to go out and do therapy. Telehealth is real big right now. A lot of places and companies are providing counseling through telehealth, but our seniors are often not equipped to be able to understand how to get on the computer and do telehealth on the computer. Plus, we like that face to face, and it'll give them an opportunity to have some company, somebody to come by and check in on them and talk to them. And so that will be happening before the end of the year. We'll have that new program started. And then grief groups, hopefully, will be starting soon again. And we'll put that information out as we schedule the next grief group because that's definitely important for our community. Also, anything?
A couple of conferences, game nights.
Yeah, game nights are coming back. We have so much fun with game nights.
I've never got invited to a game night. I feel
well, it's coming back. We initially started out doing couples game nights, but they evolved to Battle of the Sexes. And so that's coming. It was going to start in February. We couldn't get it done by February. I think they said April. And so we'll get that information out. Battle of the Sexes is amazing. We have so much fun.
Hilarious.
I bet you it is. I know it is. I know it is. So it's like game night. Make sure y'all invite me to a game night.
Oh, we will.
I would love to attend.
So that's coming. And then we have at least 2 couples workshops that's going to happen this year. We know one is in August, will be in Hepzibah. And then the other one, did they say? We got it'll be earlier during the year. That the couples workshops, and we'll get that specific information and dates out to you also when we start those.
Okay, man, you guys have a lot going on for 2024. I didn't think I heard a couple things, but I didn't hear all of that. So you're gonna be busy, and yes, you're gonna need to move again probably soon. So we'll be happy to do your ribbon cutting for the next location here at the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. I just want to put that out there.
We're receiving that. We're receiving it.
But I really, really enjoy you guys. I thank you for everything you're doing for the community. I say therapy and therapists is probably an unsung hero right now in our community with everything that is happening on a regular basis. This will become more the forefront. I was looking at I follow Sesame Street because my grandbaby likes Emo. And so I've noticed that they are asking you, like, how are you doing right now? And they're, I think, hashtag emotional well-being or something.
Oh, okay.
The Sesame Street characters are right now, which is interesting. So you guys may want to check. I'm assuming it's some type of campaign. I'm not a heavy social media person, but that stuck out to me. And so even it was like it's all the characters are doing it. So I don't know what that is, but I was like, okay, so they're even taking on emotional health right now and spreading it amongst our youth or kids or whoever follows, the big kids that follow Sesame Street too, like me. So I think that's important as well. But how do people get in contact with you if they want your services? And thank you so much for being interviewed tonight and sharing your entrepreneur journey with the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce, because we want to encourage more business owners or those that are being, thinking about going into entrepreneurship or being forced through a layoff into entrepreneurship, to know that we're here to support them. We'll be, offering training classes. We really push to have programs here every year because we know that education is such a critical part of growing your business, starting your business, and maintaining your business. You have to constantly be in a state of learning. So how do people get in contact with you, just in case they're looking for a therapist, and to keep in contact with you about all the great things you're doing for the community?
Currently, we're located at 2101 Central Avenue here in Augusta, right off of Hurd Avenue. Our telephone number is 706-750-2809. And you can hit us up on www.eitrcounseling.com. But I want to take a moment to say to you, thank you for what you've done in this area, because without you, we wouldn't be where we are. The classes, the effort that you put in, and I know you get exhausted, but you reach out and you keep it moving. You don't just work in this area, you go outside of this area to other states and make contact with other chambers and different things within the state of Georgia and other states. So we definitely thank you. You're a gold mine for us, particularly in this area.
Oh, thank you. I received that. I'm hard to do compliments and stuff like that, but I'm working on, stop being so behind the scenes and putting out, because I want to help more people. So that's important for me to hear that. So thank you so much for even saying that. That's huge for me to hear that right now. So, but I will put their contact information below in the comment section. I also will put it up above in the title, along with what the chamber has coming up and how you can contact the chamber and all the events I talked about earlier on in the live. I guess, this is the end of our first live Thursday. Thank you so much for being my first guest. I can't wait to continue to interview business owners throughout the CSRA as I get back just on social media and live, talking to everybody and letting everybody know the great things we have happening here in Augusta and beyond, because this is a great community to be in. I'm Ronique West, president and co-founder of Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. Remember, we are one community and one voice, and I bid you a good day.